Hi guys, Aris, Hardware Bastards. The holy grail for every GPU reviewer out there is to make an automated test suite of benchmarks. This way, he can save huge time because he won't have to babysit the whole procedure. So far, the only guy that I know has done that is Wizard from Tech Power Up because this is way too hard. It is actually easier said than done. A while ago, I started messing with the idea of doing test suite GPU benchmark on my own. The best way to do it, I soon realized that it is through Python. Python, guys, is a powerful script language. I admit that I didn't think much of it till I started using it. I have already done an article explaining how to use Python to extract all data from CapFrameX, and now it's time to show you the real power. How to start automating your own GPU benchmarks. This is the second game that I managed to automate. The first was Metro Exodus. This is Hitman 3. For starters, I started with games that have embedded benchmarks because it is easier with these games. You don't have to write a bot which will handle the whole procedure. So let's go through the article and we will show you the real code afterwards to show you what it does. I use Thonny, a Python IDE for beginners. It is very good and powerful, and believe me, you don't need something more than Thonny. The first thing I do is import all required modules. Okay, these are the APIs, libraries that I will use in my program, so I don't have to rewrite all the code. Then, as I told you, I use CapFrameX. I have to set up some variables on CapFrameX. For example, the process name, the time to capture, how many seconds, records directory, and capture file mode, JSON, bench count, of course, from where the bench count starts, which is 1. I've asked for Mark, the developer of CapFrameX, to make an extra field for me where I will be able to remotely send a comment to CapFrameX. You know, I test in 3 different resolutions, HD, QHD, and 4K. So, currently I can start remotely CapFrameX, but I cannot send remotely a comment where I usually put the resolution description. HD, QHD, HD RTX, HD RTX, DLSS, etc. This will be very helpful because currently, once everything is finished, I have to go to CapFrameX and put the comments on my own. Because afterwards, I have all data extracted automatically from CapFrameX, but the data extraction depends on the comment, if it is HD resolution, if it's QHD. So it is way easier for me if Mark makes this update to CapFrameX and I can send remotely a comment to the JSON file. The bench count is the starting point. You should not change the bench count unless you want to skip some graphics options. I will explain later. Now we have the benchmark options. Benches per setting. Usually, in each resolution and each different graphics mode, I run 4 runs, the benchmark, and I take the average. Now, for the sake of doing that faster and evaluating the program faster, I had 2 here, but you can change that number in whatever you want, 6, 10. It's fully automated, you don't care, you just leave it there and you forget about that. RTX option, if you want to enable RTX. In this case, I have that true. So I will also run the benchmark with an RTX preset. DLSS FSR option, true. Hitman 3 has DLSS, and there are some games that might have also FSR, so this is a general option that I have set to true. DLSS frame generation. I don't want to test in this scenario DLSS frame generation, but Hitman 3 has it. If you want to run tests also with frame generation, you just set 3. DLSS 3.5, Hitman doesn't have that, but I put an option, you never know, for future reference. Resolutions per test scenario. Okay, let's say that I want to test the Ultra preset. This means that I will test, in my case at least, at HD, QHD and 4K. So I have 3 resolutions per test scenario. Depending on the other options, RTX, DLSS FSR, frame generation, DLSS 3.5 that I want to add, depending if it is false or true, I add more resolutions per test scenario, more benchmark runs. So the total benches equals to benches per setting by resolutions per test scenario. And as I have already mentioned, I have 3 resolutions per setting. And here I just print the total resolutions, benches per resolution, and the total runs. Total runs means the number of benchmarks, of Hitman 3 benchmarks that I will have to run in total. So let's say that I only want to run the Ultra preset and nothing else. Okay, this means 4 runs per resolution, and given that I have 3 resolutions, this means that I will run the benchmark 12 times. 12 times. If I add RTX, I will run the benchmark another 12 times, so in total 24. If I want to add RTX, another 12 times, so 36. If I want to add frame generation, another 12 times, 48. 48 different runs. 100 seconds each run, 4,800 seconds. This means, my God, that's a lot. 80 minutes. 80 minutes. So instead of you being there and have to supervise the whole procedure for 80 minutes, it is done fully automatically. Okay, let's continue. In order to begin to tell to CapFrameX, okay, you have to begin here. I sent the command to CapFrameX to begin the logging, okay, the FPS logging and all data logging that it does. To do so, I need to recognize when the benchmark starts. So to do so, I have an image source. I will show you that. This is the image that I have, and I tell to my code that when you see this image, then start the benchmark ASAP, immediately. Run application. I had a problem here. This problem was especially with Metro and with Hitman. I went to the Hitman 3 or the Metro Exodus installation folder, and I started directly the game from there. In Metro the benchmark, in Hitman the game, and tried to start the options. I had problems. The benchmark, especially in Metro, didn't start. I say, what the hell? When I go and start it from the desktop, the shortcut, everything is okay, but once I try to do that programmatically, it doesn't start. After doing some research on this subject, I realized that these games start through a launcher. So it is not like that. Actually, you should not open them as applications through Python, but you should open them like a URL. And as you can see here, this is the code for the launcher. The game ID, it's very easy to find. You just do a right click on the shortcut properties, and it has a URL. From the URL you take everything after the apps until here, and this is your game ID. You just put it here and it will work. Here I start CapFrameX. You see, CapFrameX, I run it as an application, not as a web URL. And this is how I start Hitman. Here, I have to connect the window to a variable and start doing stuff with that. Now, here, I open the options. Let me show you this stuff. I think I need to show you that. So, once I hit Hitman, you see there's a button here, options. So this code here does that. Clicks options. Simple, huh? Not so much. Once you try to do that in Python, but okay. So, let's continue. I've opened the benchmark options. Now I need to do some selections here. Exclusive full screen, combo box 4, combo box 5, VSync off, ultra preset, Dubai benchmark scene, show FPS off, show stats off. And now we go to the good stuff. This is where actually the benchmark starts. And I say to the program, while bench count, you remember that bench count starts from 1. It's the total runs, total benchmark runs. So while bench count is smaller, lower than total benches plus 1, you will wait till game bench 2 window is enabled. The game bench 2 is the window, the options of the benchmark. I select the ultra preset. I say here, I assume that RTX is enabled. Okay, so I disable everything here. Once I disable that, this code is commented so it won't run. I do the same for adaptive supersampling, for DLSS frame generation. So I only enable the ultra preset here. If bench count, actually when I'm finished with the ultra preset, I have run all 12 benchmarks there, I need to go to RTX preset without DLSS. Okay, so if RTX option is enabled and bench count is above that and below that, you have to do that. Enable RTX. I also enable the other RTX options. Adaptive supersampling. 0 means off. 1 is on. Yeah, this is off, on. Just notice that. Okay. When this is finished, I'm after the 24 benchmark runs. I might want to also add DLSS to RTX. So if DLSS or FSR option is on, I have RTX enabled and I also enable supersampling. But look, DLSS frame generation 0 means off. It is off. Once I finish that, 36 benchmarks runs so far. And let's say that I want RTX preset with DLSS or FSR with DLSS and frame generation. So, if bench count above benches presetting by 9 and DLSS FSR option and DLSS frame generation is true, I enable RTX again. This is not, I could skip that, but okay, I do that anyway. Adaptive supersampling is on and DLSS frame generation is also on. The part where I change the resolution. Whenever I start testing a new scenario, I know that I will start from HD, I will go to QHD, and then I will go to 4K. So it is easy for me, whenever bench count equals 1 or bench settings by 3 plus 1, it's very easy. I change the resolution to HD. The middle resolution is always QHD, and the third and final resolution is 4K. If you can see here, the x-axis and y-axis. Why do that? That's for the image recognition. I give some coordinates about them. This is the middle of the screen. In HD resolution, the middle of the screen is that. And QHD is that. In 4K is that. I give him the middle of the screen to start from there to search for the image. The image which will initiate the logging of CapFrameX. Start the benchmark. It's easier to show you than to describe. Okay, options. Let's say I have finished all options, guys, here, or everything. This is the button. Start benchmark with current settings. So this code, the thing that it does, it presses that button over here. Okay, detect image. While you don't find the image, you wait. This is the image it is searching for. So while you don't find this image, you wait. Once you find the image, you go out of that while loop and you start capture. You start capture Hitman theme, record directory. I have that already in the variables, capture file mode and time to capture, 100 seconds. And I say to the program, okay, since now CapFrameX starts doing its job, it's time for you to sleep. You will sleep from the time for the time to capture period. So I won't have any usage from you. And once everything is finished, I increase the bench count by 1. The benchmark ends here. I give it 5 seconds to take a nap. And it starts again till bench count equals total benches plus 1. It's lower till bench count equals total benches. This is the logic behind this automation. I guess you want to take a look at this program running. Okay. In Thonny, you write the code here and run current script and wait for the magic to happen. I need to do an automation there too, I know, because CapFrameX starts in administrative mode for the PMD, for the Power Magnetics, I guess. Okay, it started. You see, it selects full screen, resolution HD. Yeah, benchmark starts. My hands are here, I'm not doing anything. And it started. Let's wait for the CapFrameX now to start. I will tell you when. Here, it started. Here is the image. The door. Okay, guys. I think it's enough. Easier. Not so easy to do, believe me. But I had experience with Metro Exodus, so I finished that in a matter of hours. It was not that tough. If I let this program, it will run for all possible variations that I set. It can run, as I told you, it will save me up to 80 minutes if I include all tests. All results are passed to CapFrameX, and I have another Python script which takes all data from CapFrameX, puts the data in a special Excel file that I have made, and with the press of the button, this Excel file makes all graphs through another custom piece of code which makes all of our graphs here in Hardware Bastards and Cybernetics also. A web application that does this stuff. It is not that tough. Actually, I expect it to be tougher, but it's not that tough if you have a little of coding experience. Yes, yeah, it stopped now, the CapFrameX, the logging. I have set it in 100 seconds. So, benchmark games with embedded benchmarks are relatively easy to make a full automation. If you check the article that I wrote on hwbusters.com, you will find many tips here, and it will basically provide 80% of the code. So if you have a little experience in Python, it will be very easy for you to complete the code and do it on your own. And another stuff is that, okay, I know that games where you don't have embedded benchmarks and you have to make the character, you have to make a bot, are tougher, okay, they are tougher, but there are a lot of guides on YouTube and on some sites which can give you many tips about how to do that. My next challenge will be Cyberpunk. I'm going to write a Cyberpunk automation tool like this one, with a major difference that this time I will have to go into the game, start the game, find all settings. I will do an image analysis and I will say, okay, here is this setting, guys. Do that. It is not as easy as was with Metro, Exodus and Hitman, where there's another window with all options before you load the game. Now in Cyberpunk I have to load the game and proceed and do all these changes and settings. And also I have to write the bot. The bot has, it won't do anything crazy, okay? I will just write a bot which will run through a path, back and forth. That's the only thing I want to do, the bot to do. Because I have to keep the resources, the CPU resources low. I can't have some special AI to stress the CPU while I run the benchmark. We will see. I believe that it will take me a week or so. I will do a tutorial also of how I will perform that. Thing is that all this time, all these years actually, I have seen many experienced reviewers, GPU reviewers, not being able to do something fully automated. As I've mentioned before, only Wizard from TechParab has done something like that. Actually, I believe he has done something way more advanced, but anyway, we've just started doing this stuff. Python is a great tool to help you not automate only GPU benchmarks, but everything from benchmarks, and not only. It's a great script language to start. There are lots of resources on the net which will help you. Lots of information, but you also have to be careful because there's so much information that it is very easy to get lost while searching for something. This is, it almost happened to me. This is why I have to warn you about that. Anyway, leave a comment. I plan to do about, to do the automation of 15 games, give or take, and also do the automation on the Pownetics native application, which will log power also. CapFrameX can do that, but I also want to do that on my own application. We have a Patreon page if you want to support us. Subscribe to our channel. We need more subscribers, definitely. And